But there is also another aspect to YouTube that's very kind of, I would say, very connected to the gang stalking agenda, or online stalking agenda, but it's done in a very surreptitious way. There's also the very same thing that I experience in terms of vehicular harassment. That goes on in YouTube videos. I'm going to explain that as well and expose that. Especially it happens a lot in live streams. So what they will do, in the same way they do with me if I venture outdoors and go on a cycle, you will see that same thing happening. So what they do, they have these people, these agents, who hang around and spy on and basically lock on to what these people are saying in their streams, in their live streams, and they then respond to what they're saying. They respond to what they're saying when they then upload that video to YouTube, and then it's always there. So if it's a certain word, or if they pass by a certain store with a certain name or whatever, and it could be a visual, it could be something they're saying in the commentary, it's always fixed into the video from that moment onwards. So if you ever watch that video, if it relates to in some way, then you will basically hear that gang stalking. It's a permanent gang stalking moment. So it's there for anybody who it relates to. I could actually name people who do these live streams, and it happens a lot in their videos, and it's just abnormal driver behaviour, and I have a feeling that these people aren't just normal people in the community. I would say a lot of them are, but I would say not all of them are people in the community. They're agents for a certain. Well, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to suggest who that might be, but it seems that there's a branch now, a very covert branch that basically just are assigned to follow these people around who do live streams on YouTube, and they basically incorporate their noise and they just basically respond to their commentary, their visuals, and everything around them in their environment that they pick up on the camera. They then you'll see it a lot. Watch any video I'm talking about, and you'll hear this shit going on, and you'll think it's normal, and the person who's filming it might think it's just normal. Well, it's not. It's really abnormal stuff, and the only people who are going to actually recognize it are the people it connects with. Well, yeah, that's YouTube. So there's a lot more to YouTube than meets the eye, and also there are, I believe, there are people who have handlers, and they certain. I'm not going to actually mention any channel names, or what country, but it seems that there are YouTube handlers who have like their own group of YouTubers who just create channels just so that they can incorporate very weird stuff, very weird kind of way of shooting the videos, and very weird stuff that they say, and the captions, etc., and how it's shot. And I don't believe that the people who are actually shooting the video are responsible for it. They may be to a degree, but I think there's handlers behind this who have a say in what the captions actually say, and what these people shoot. And it seems that there's something else going on other than just an individual creating a YouTube channel. It seems that there's something more to it than that. So I'm going to try and show evidence of that as well. That just leaves me with mind control. That ties in with this program that I believe I have been placed on from birth, and I believe with all the targeting as well. The mind control also plays its part. So it all comes together as one package, and then it affects your life. They just lay it on heavy. They use surveillance, targeting, which can be directed energy targeting, gang stalking, and also mind control. So all those aspects come together to create one fierce package. And basically, I heard Eric Hecker say, "Know your mind, know your own mind." Well, it's easy said than done, because I had an exchange with Eric Hecker, and I certainly felt from a certain point onwards that Eric Hecker was being mind controlled to say stuff, because he was saying a lot of really weird stuff towards me, and he was behaving really weird towards me, and it wasn't the Eric Hecker that I saw in his videos. It was like a different Eric Hecker. I thought it's as though I was going to say to him, "Is this really Eric Hecker that I'm talking to?" Because you don't sound, you're not coming across as anything like what you do in the videos. And I couldn't exactly say to Eric, well, you know, because he would hate me saying, like, firing stuff at him that stuff he'd said, and later and firing it back at him and saying, well, you said this, and he wouldn't like, he would hate me doing that. So I couldn't do that. So I couldn't say to him, you said know your own mind. Well, how do you know that what you're saying here is you? This doesn't sound like you. What you it's just weird responses to my emails. So how does someone know their own mind? I believe that I'm being mind controlled to this very day, and there's nothing you can do about it, because you're always going to think it's your mind, it's your thought process, it's your decisions. And I make some weird decisions in certain situations that when I've just only moments before just said I'm not going to do that, refrain from doing that, go down this route and don't do that, avoid doing that, and then I go and do that. But yeah, I've had plenty of instances when I've said I'm not going to do that, try this now from this moment onwards, and then I revert back to doing what I'm doing for some reason. And also when during the day, I'll sing songs. I'm singing with these fucking weird, shitty songs with sexual lyrics, and I don't want to sing, and yet suddenly I'll start singing randomly for no reason, and then I get targeted when I start singing. I get targeted to the heart and the head. So it's almost like they're making me. It's almost like they're instigating the singing, me to sing, so that they can justify an attack, a targeting. So they're looking for that stimuli. Because if I stay silent, then I get targeted. If I stay silent for too long, and I've made logs of this, it's like if I set out to be quiet, if I say to myself at the start of the day, right, I'm just going to be quiet, I'm not going to say a damn word, and yet half an hour down the line, I'm suddenly start singing. And I've said to myself, don't sing, don't say nothing, don't sing, don't say nothing out loud, just be quiet, and then they've got nothing to go off. But then they start targeting you. They'll just start targeting you after a certain period of time, and it'll just continue. Then you get aggressive, and you respond, and you react, and you have a tirade, and you react to the target, and you start saying stuff you don't want to say. And it's just a vicious circle. It's like they're in control. If they want to use voice to skull on you, you're never going to know. So it's all very well saying know your own mind, but you don't know in what situation you don't know when you're being mind controlled, and when that voice to skull is working, because you're always going to think it's your decisions. You can't get out of that. You can't get away from that. That's how powerful mind control is. It's all very well someone saying, "Oh well, yeah, just do this, take this course of action, and you can avoid it." Well, you can't avoid mind control. There's no way you can avoid it. You can be mind controlled in any situation, and you'll never know it's your thoughts, even when you think it's you're in control, and you're not in control. If you're being mind controlled and this voice of skull's being used on you, you're not in control at any point. It always has control of you. Even when you think you know in your own mind, and you say you think you're in control, and you're not. So I think when I talk about when I fell into the deep depression, that's when they used the mind control on me, and they used all the other tactics, and they threw everything at me, and it got to the point where I just questioning what kind of reality is this? What have I stepped into? It just feels like it doesn't even feel like a normal world. It doesn't feel normal. I could barely function physically, and there was something that happened in Somerset that I'll talk about in more detail. Something that happened, and it's never happened to me ever before. It had never happened to me up to that point, and never happened to me since. And all I will say, it felt like a tractor beam. So if you imagine, if people like talk about UFOs, if like alien abductions, like a tractor beam just suddenly hits them and they can't move their body. Well, this felt like a tractor beam. I couldn't move my legs. I'd forgotten how to walk. I was on my way to college, and I think it happened another time when I was on my way back from college, and I couldn't walk. I literally couldn't walk. It felt like something had a hold on my leg, and I couldn't. It was like felt it. I didn't think this at the time that it was a tractor beam, but that's how I can describe it now. It felt like a fucking tractor beam. But not at the time. I didn't feel that. I just thought it was something like physical. I thought, well, I had no explanation for it. I thought, well, I've never experienced this before. What's going on? I'm having to think about putting one foot in front of the other, and I'm getting nowhere. At this rate, it's going to take me 2 hours, 3 hours to get home if I carry on like this. And I'm like 20 minutes away from arriving back at the halls of residence. I'm halfway along. I'm halfway home. And then suddenly I have to really, really think about putting one foot in front of the other, and it's like something's taken control of my mind. It's like someone's completely hijacked my mind. And there's no communication going from my mind to my legs. Never experienced that ever before, and never experienced it since. It's as though I was being experimented upon. That's how it felt. That's how it feels now when I look back at it. And I can remember it. It's just, I could not move that fucking leg. It was very difficult. I could move it, but only a little bit, and just ahead of the next foot. Almost as if I was tippy-toeing my way home. And I must have looked like a complete idiot. You know, and then it was still affecting me when I got back to the halls of residence eventually. And there were people in the kitchens, and I'm very conscious, like people looking at me from the kitchens and thinking, why is he walking like that? Why is he walking so strangely? Like tiptoeing. And that's how bad it was. That's not normal. Never experienced anything like that ever since. In those first few weeks, something happened in a nightclub in the freshers weeks. The opening few weeks, people were kind of becoming acquainted to their new surroundings and getting used to one another and kind of making friends. I was invited along with another group from my own kitchen, from my particular part of the halls. My neighbours, should I say, they invited me along, and so I said, yeah, all right, I'll come along, and went to nightclubs. Weren't really my thing, but I thought, well, you know, I might get to know them a bit better. It might help me settle in a bit more. So I went along with them. Anyway, I got separated from them not long after a couple of drinks, and they all disappeared, and I was left left in the club. I couldn't find them anywhere. I couldn't find any of them. So I sat by myself on this table with complete strangers, and I was just having a drink, and this guy just comes up to me from nowhere, and he was about maybe mid-20s, I would say, early 20s, mid-20s, and he says, "Can I buy you a drink?" I was half drunk at that point. I said, "Yeah, okay." Just not thinking. And he said, "Yeah, okay." He said, "It's all right, just stay there. I'll go and get the drink." I don't know if he said that, but that's what happened. Is I remained seated, and he went off to the bar and got the drinks, and he brought them back a short while later, popped it on the table, and then I just drank it. But now looking back, I think he, considering what happened next, I think he dropped something in my drink, and I have no idea what he would have dropped in the drink and why he would single me out to do that. It seems very strange. So has this guy been put up to doing this? Has someone said to him, "Yeah, I'll give you this if you just do this for me"? Just basically under surveillance, and then people watching me just watching what's the developments in the night, and just then saying, right, well, we can take advantage of this now. Do this for us, and then just drop this in his drink, and then because anyway that happened, and then he disappeared. I didn't see nothing of him, nothing more of him. He came, offered me to buy me a drink, and then pissed off. I didn't see nothing more of him. I then got onto the dance floor moments later, after I've drank all the what I thought was cider, just normal cider, but I strongly believe something was dropped into it, but I have no idea what. I was then, next thing you know, I'm dancing on the dance floor like a complete lunatic, and people around me are just like looking at me and thinking, I'm getting off this fucking dance floor. This guy's like dangerous. It's like he's flailing arms and fucking acting like what the fuck is this? And that's what it was. That's how it affected me. I basically cleared that dance floor. There was like two or three people remained on the dance floor, and basically it must have been like all eyes on me. And I realised I was making a fool of myself, and I thought, I'm getting the fuck out of here. I realised that people were disappearing off the dance floor, and I thought, what the fuck? Oh, this isn't going too well. So I just disappeared. I just got out of the club, and then I felt as though someone was trailing behind me on the way back home in the darkness. It's like someone was like shadowing me. So I tried to lose them in this drunken state, and I don't know, nothing happened, but it really did feel like someone was shadowing me. So then I eventually walked all the way back home in the darkness, because there was no street lights or nothing. It was like a very countrified area, so we were a dark country road for a mile or two, a couple of miles I think it was, back to the Hos residence. So eventually got back home, crashed out on the bed, and never thought nothing more of it. But then I looked back and reflected on what happened when I got back home years later, and I thought, well, it's just weird. But then I knew nothing about what I know now. What people are capable of doing with their technology. I didn't know that all that stuff existed at that point. Very naive, didn't have the access to the same access that you have nowadays, where you can just jump on your internet straight away and just spend all day surfing the internet for information. There was none of that then. This was 1997, 96, 97, 96 it was. Yeah, the general gist of this is to just literally show where I'm up to in my research, what I've actually already worked through, and just to basically explain that what I'm uploading now is by no means the be all and end all. It's not just about me showing footage of my experiences while I'm out on foot or on the bike, and there's a lot more to it than that. It goes a lot deeper than that, a lot deeper. And there's some very weird stuff that I've yet to display. But like I say, if it's just my own imagination, then obviously they have nothing to worry about, and it's all good. But it seems to me that I've, in recent weeks, since I started putting up all these, editing the videos and uploading them to YouTube, it seems to me that I've touched a raw nerve, and that people are starting to, I don't know about panic, but they it seems very panicky response, as though they're trying to prevent me from doing that. And basically what happened last year in terms of targeting to my heart, at times was very potent from the moment I created the channel in the first place. And then so I created the channel very early on in the year. I think it was February, with the intention of uploading some of my evidence. But I started off with Eric Hecker, because I came across Eric Hecker and I thought, well, this guy knows what he's talking about, some extremely good information, and I've got to ask this guy if I can use some of his material to get my channel started. I'd like to just paste up a lot of his videos in edited form, with stuff that's relevant to me, and just filter out the stuff that's not so relevant. I'm not saying it doesn't have relevance, but it doesn't really have much relevance to my life. So I thought, well, yeah, just go with the stuff that resonates, as Eric says, and he gave me permission to do that. So I got about 40 videos edited of his, and then I put them all up. That's the first thing I did. That was the first course of action, and then it was always my intention to then follow that up with my own evidence and my own stuff and my own material, which I started doing in earnest late December last year. So that was that, and then March, I suddenly got the impulse, which, like I said, very weird, to contact my cousin, Facebook. I've said enough about that. I've explained enough about that. I don't need to go over old ground. Then I came across the donor agreement, the donor letter that confirmed that I'd given them permission to use my certain organ, to extract certain organ parts upon my death. I cancelled that straight away after my cousin died, because I was very suspicious about his death and the circumstances around it. So I came across that by chance, and I thought, well, that's getting cancelled right away, so I cancelled that. Targeting stepped up even more. So in phases it stepped up and up. It just kept going up in tiers. So targeted. The very first video that I uploaded, Very Hackers, I was attacked as I clicked upload with a very potent attack that resembled like a heart attack in a fraction of a second. As soon as I clicked upload, I'd been editing the video up to that point, and then I uploaded it. Once I finished the edit, I uploaded it, clicked upload, instantly targeted to the heart. Very potent attack. That was from the get-go. And then got in touch with my cousin. The moment that message came through of him having heart attacks, I'm not joking, I was instantly targeted, and it continued right throughout the conversation and beyond for the next several months. Just every single day, incessant targeting, any excuse to target, any lame justification to try and target someone. So in terms of dialogue, reading books, it's the same old. Reading books, anything, dialogue, lyrics, visuals, any excuse, I would target. It was incessant, it was vicious, it was nasty, and it continued for months and months and months. And then it phased out a little bit, and then it picked up again, and then phased out, and then picked up again. Yeah, I also got a weird phone call for me to go and have a health check. It was like they were trying desperately to get me in. It was almost like they wanted me to go in that same day, same afternoon. And I said, no, I'm fine. I feel fine. Other than what I'm experiencing in terms of targeting, but that's not natural. That's nothing to do with your health. That's not health related. That's something entirely different. That's external targeting. That doesn't equate to health. Health wise, I felt fine, and I said, if I feel the need, I feel absolutely fine. I feel healthy. If I feel the need to go and have a health check, then I'll contact them later in the year, and I'll book myself in. And I ended up doing that. I voluntarily booked myself in for an August appointment. And I always said that I'm doing this just to get a clean bill of health. But anyway, something happened in the health check. I was actually told beforehand over the phone that there'd be no blood test, but on the day they took blood samples, whereas they actually said they weren't going to do that. That'd have to be booked separately. I thought it was just a pulse reading for the blood pressure. But yeah, right at the end of the health check, about half an hour into the health check, just as I was about to leave, I asked the nurse how tall I am. I was just curious, just wanted to get confirmation of my height. She said 5'9". She had a look, had a glance, and said, 5'9". I kind of went, whoa, 5'9". No one's ever given me a 5'9" reading. It's people are like 5'11", or I'm 5'11" and a half. That's what I thought it was, 5'11", 5'11" and a half. And you're telling me I'm 5'9". She said, "Oh, just ignore that. Yeah, that's not correct." But it's as though she was doctoring the information. That's how it seemed to me. Not at the moment, not at the time. It didn't seem to me. But now looking back, reflecting on it, now I've had time to reflect on it. It seems to me that a nurse qualified to take health checks, who's in that position taking my health check, who's qualified to do that, to take a reading of 5'9" for your height when you're 5'11" is a major difference, massive difference, and that just seems very off. And so that if I'd not asked the question, then my height would have been stated as 5'9", and all the details around that, such as my blood pressure, etc., would have been related to that. So it seems to me that she was trying to doctor the information. Had I not asked about my height, I would never have known she'd put 5'9". How do I know she changed it? I don't even know she changed it from 5'9". She still might have kept it 5'9". I don't know this. I didn't check. 5'9", 5'11". Anyone who's 5'9" stood next to someone who's 5'11", you can see a massive difference. How a nurse can get that wrong and have my height as 5'9". Just seems like it seems to me like they were trying to doctor the information to suit them, so that then they can corral me into a situation where they're trying to tell me and trying to convince me that I've got health problems due to the readings on my blood pressure. So I thought, well, okay, what I'll do, I'll start going out on my bike, and I'll do some exercise, start hiking. I'll do some big hikes up big hills, and I did all this. I went cycling in heat wave conditions, and I thought, well, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen during a heat wave conditions. So I made a point of cycling during the heat waves. And at one point we're pushing a bike up a big hill, out of breath completely, sweating like mad in the steaming hot sun, but no problems. Just needed drink, needed water, need to get back down the hill because I didn't want to continue. We turned back down, and we just sat down for a bit and had a drink, got some liquid refreshment because we needed it badly. But no issues. hiked up the most grueling hill I've ever walked up in my life. It took me about maybe a full hour to get from the bottom to the top, so we can get up to the other side to check out the cascades, the amazing cascades on the other side. But to get there, it was like a grueling hike up a really steep hill. So I was going up that hill in diagonals. It wasn't a case of just walking up the hill. This is a steep hill where I had to like go in diagonals. If you imagine like a switchback road going up a big mountain, it was like that. I was climbing in that manner. I was going in diagonals, cutting back and forth, just gradually getting myself up the hill, but I'm completely out of breath. Had to take breaks, stopped, hands on hips, gasping for breath. You know, if you're gonna have issues, if you've got issues with blood pressure and etc. and heart problems, then it's gonna be now. So then I started running up and down the stairs, and you know, it's not. I know. I've got a lot of videos of these. I've put one of these up on my. I've uploaded one of these videos just to show what I'm doing. I know it's not a marathon. It's not by no means a marathon, but it's working up my heart rate, and it's basically why I'm doing this is because I'm doing it instantly following targeting, about a targeting. So then I grab the phone, instantly start running up and down the stairs to show that there's something very. It kind of contradicts what I'm experiencing when I'm sat down in front of the TV screen. So moments after heavy targeting, I'll pick up the phone, start running up and down the stairs a few times until I'm out of breath completely, recover my breath and show that everything's fine. And that's the whole idea of that. It's not to show that, oh, I'm super fit, because I'm not super fit, I know that, but I'm fit. I was a pretty super fit growing up. I was super fit because I used to play football every day. I was one of the top sprinters and top long distance and top short distance. I would always finish in the top 3 in the long distance running. I'm talking about school jogging, school long distance running, where they would have you doing like PE sessions. I would always finish in the top 3. Sprinting, wasn't the best sprinter, but I would always finish in the top 2 or 3. So I was fast and I was durable, and I always had that fitness, and I always had a bit of edge over most of the other people. In either case, I wasn't the best, but I was in the top 3. So I was kind of like a top 3 in both kind of long distance and short distance running. Did a lot of cycling growing up. Played football every day, almost religiously. Come home from school, play football, grab a football, get onto the local pitch, start playing again till nightfall. Just lived and breathed football, played football, running about, keeping myself fit. Looked fit, felt fit, was fit. Kept off drugs. Very seldom had any kind of prolonged drinking problems. Well, I've had a few instances of isolated. It's more isolated, just where I've just felt the need to just drink, but for like 2 or 3 days, and then nothing more after that. But when I drank, it was pretty heavy stuff, and then I just kept off the drink since then. So no drugs, no smoking, very little smoking. I could probably count on both hands probably count on one hand how many cigarettes I've had in my entire life. So none of the health issues connected with that. So it seemed to me they were trying to corral me into a situation and trying to kind of convince me that I've got issues when there are none. And that for me was very sinister. And considering all the stuff that I was experiencing when I'm in the home and the targeting and stuff, it seemed to me also connecting to something that happened when I was around 20 years old, when a life insurance guy came to visit the house, and he specifically wanted to talk to me about trying and get me signed up for some life insurance. And I said to the guy, I don't think I'm going to live beyond 50, and then he frowned and said, well, why would you say that? No idea. Don't know why I would say that. So this is what I'm talking about, all about mind control. It's like the lot of situations I've been in growing up throughout my life where I can now look back and say, well, you know, this you've got to start considering that you've been mind controlled throughout your life. It's just like I'm in a situation now. I'm on government benefits, All my friends have got top jobs, and they were doing the same thing I was doing. I was going through took the same path, going to higher education, colleges, universities, and that's what I was doing. And yet they've all ended up with jobs, earning shitloads of money. And that's the path my life was heading towards. I was getting my act together. I was trying to make something of myself.